welcome to another podcast. I don't think it's going to be a very long one. It's been a funny weekend and a busy one today. I'm incredibly lucky and incredibly grateful that I was able to have the COVID vaccine yesterday, and the AstraZeneca Oxford, and I'm so delighted. But it did leave me feeling a bit manky, a bit meh. Nothing major, nothing serious, just a bit sleepy and a bit off colour. So I had a lot of dyeing planned, but then I decided actually I didn't feel well enough to do the dyeing, so I wasn't going to do it. But then I started feeling better. So I've just done loads and loads and loads of dyeing for the March British Birds Yarn Club, and I'll be dyeing the Flora and Fauna Club on Tuesday. That will be the March lot that will go out on Thursday, and listings are up now if anyone would like to join for the next 3 months, months 4 to 6, and they're available over on my website, both Flora and Fauna and British Birds. And amazingly, my hands are a little bit of pinky-ish colour there, but my hands have, and a bit there on my thumb. Normally my hands are disgusting, absolutely disgusting. They're just brown and green and blue and pink, and I always forget to wear my gloves. I know it's not that difficult to remember, but because I'm zip-zapping backwards and forwards between things, yeah, I do forget my gloves. So I'm quite pleased with today. And I do find that if anyone does do dyeing and finds it hard to get the dye off their fingers, I do find that a proper bar of soap rather than a liquid hand wash, proper bar of soap does get my hands a lot cleaner. Some of the very nice handmade ones are particularly good, but you know, just bar soap rather than liquid gets it cleaner. I've moved slightly to how I'm recording this, because I wanted to show off our workbench behind us because it's looking very pretty today. Isla and I swiped this cubbyhole thing from the shop. I mean, I think I bought it at auction years and years and years ago, long before I had the shop. But it's perfect for her handmade mugs that are ours to keep. And then you've got paintings and collages and things there. There's a painting by my granny. There's some we've bought. There's lots by Isla. This little one over my shoulder here, I did on the day I got my O-level results. That's how long ago it was. And I was very pleased with my results back then. And I sat down and painted 2 paintings, and I've never painted anything nice since. And there's a brilliant collage over my other shoulder that Isla made years ago of Jonathan out running, a paper collage. And the green thing that you probably can't see is a tile that I made, that I printed one of my lino prints into, so it gives a kind of raised effect. So I like that. So yeah, looking cute. Oh, and the lovely Mandy Petullo owl that I bought from her studio quite a few years ago, that I absolutely love. And they're all higgledy-piggledy and all piled up like that, but that's how I like it. Thinking about liking things and not liking things, I had a bit of a wake-up call the other day. My lovely friend Susan came to see me at the shop to click and collect, so we were just chatting outside at the door. Unfortunately, I still can't let anyone in, obviously, until the government rules change. And Susan had bought something online and come to collect it. And I said, "Oh, are you enjoying the podcast?" And she said, "I can't watch it." And I was like, "Oh, are you not being able to download it from YouTube, or is there a technical problem?" And she said, "No." And I could see she was hesitant, didn't want to say. And I said, "Oh, do you not like it?" And that's fine. I don't expect everyone to like my podcast. But I was surprised that Susan wouldn't like it, because she tends to, be on the same wavelength as me and pick up on. And she said, "I don't like it." She said, "Lucy, you're always putting yourself down. You're always complaining about how you look. You're always criticising yourself." And she said it just upset her that I constantly did that. And I know I do. It's something about talking to I'm looking at myself as I'm talking to you here. It's very disconcerting. I guess if you're in television, you get used to it, but I'm not. I've never been hugely confident. So watching myself talking to you yes, it's not comfortable for me. And then when some of you send me photos of you watching me on your big television screens, and I'm just thinking, oh, awful. But for Susan's sake, I will try to stop putting myself down. I am who I am, and I'm happy with that. And yeah, I'm going to try and be more positive and not be self-critical. Easier said than done, but watch this space. Let's see how I get on. So moving on. Obviously my Gardening with Lucy group is going really well on Facebook. I'm loving making all my designs and launching them. So far you've had these wonderful, well, wonderfully knitted, I don't mean they're wonderful, but I like them. My gardening wrist warmers, beautifully knitted by Louise Ling and very, very well blocked. Not quite so well blocked, which is embarrassing seeing as I did that video for you the other day about blocking. Here are my Hands Full of Flowers wristies in the green, yellow and orange colourway. And I did block them a bit too big, but they're good for me. I haven't sewn the ends in yet. I like them because they're easy and comfortable, but they're not as nicely blocked as Louise's. They also come in this colour combination, and I'm surprised that not all of you are falling on the orange and yellow. Most of you are buying this colour combo, which is very pretty, but come on guys, orange and yellow, much nicer. Pink, orange and yellow, yes. And then my socks. I was so excited to get my socks from Louise because I must admit I hadn't knitted them. I knew what I wanted them to look like, and I sent Louise the pattern and she knitted them, and I am beyond thrilled with how they've come out. Can you see that I designed it so that the there's a 1x1 pattern on the first row of each brown stripe so that it looks like the soil's been dug. So you've got your little seedlings growing out of the top that blossom into lovely flowers on the heel flap. And Louise has knitted these so nicely. And they're in my favourite Exmoor sock, which is just the loveliest yarn to dye. There we go. And I'm, yeah, very, very happy with how they turned out. And it's been lovely because you will love them too. So I currently only have one pair left in the shop, I think, one set. There's just, yeah, I'm just very happy because I wasn't sure whether people would go for brown and grey striped socks, but it's what they are. They're gardening socks. They're, you know, you've planted your seedlings and they've flowered. You've also really liked my carrot socks. There we go. Lovely bright orange carrots and a lovely spring green. Now if you look, my colours are never completely solid, and I do that deliberately to get a lot of variegation because real life isn't perfect and solid, and nature certainly isn't. I always want there to be some tonal value. So in this soil, in Louise's, and Louise did get the skein of yarn with the darkest bits of brown. You can see they've got quite a lot of dark bits, but that's a deliberate plan of mine to make them tonal and varied, and hopefully more interesting. I love my socks. When they arrived in the post, I kissed them, told them I loved them, and I was going to marry them and call them George. And then I worried about myself very much indeed. I'm so pleased with them. So pleased. I think they're my favourites. And then I have a very quick launch of my hot water bottle because unfortunately I'm having a bit of supply issue with my Jameson and Smith. So I didn't gauge how popular these were going to be. Not necessarily the hot water bottles, but all the new gardening wristies and things. And I'm short of some colours. So I just have 2 of these available as kits in the shop. But here is my finished hot water bottle with the flowers and the watering cans and the garden shed and the beetroot and the flowers and carrots and obviously more flowers. I have started my iCord. It's in the car, in the bit between the two front seats, so that when I'm in the car I can pick it up and knit it. But it isn't finished yet. But I do love this. Makes me happy. I think it's the slight OCD-ness in me again. I love rows of vegetables. I love the sort of idea of a perfect allotment with perfect rows. I love paint boxes with their perfect squares of colour. It's all that kind of order that I crave but never can arrive at. So yeah, gardening with Lucy, lots of lovely things. And I've been increasing my stash of gardening themed books as well. So I got this lovely one, The Pottery Gardener, and it's about the flowers and chickens at the Emma Bridgewater factory. And this, I just happened to open, this is a photograph of my favourite breed of chicken. I used to have these when I was very small. My parents gave me a trio of them when I was 6, and they're Barbadocle Millefleur bantams from Uccle in the Netherlands, and they had little beards, you see, around their faces, and they had very feathered feet. And my favourite one was a hen called Winkle. There you go. So I'm thrilled to have a book that has such a huge photo of my favourite chicken. And I think Winkle lived to be about 15 or 16. So yes, a book with beautiful flowers and chickens in is always going to be a winner for me. It's just lovely. And I spotted this on someone's Instagram post the other day and couldn't resist. This is my dream. We did have chickens here in the house we live in now quite a few years ago, but it didn't really work with neighbours. Even though I didn't have cockerels, I still had some chickens who got a bit noisy whenever they laid an egg. They've done something clever, of course they're going to shout about it. There is a funny story though, that Malcolm, who used to live next door that way, with his lovely wife Pam, who are my really good friends, who I still haven't forgiven for moving away. Malcolm was sunbathing in his garden one day, lazy lummox, and he was woken by one of my little tiny bantams, and it was something like that. I think I had Millefleur Barbadocle then, so that little tiny bantam laid an egg and told everybody. She wasn't one of the noisy ones, but she made a little clucking sound and woke Malcolm up. So he was a tinker, he really was. So Malcolm decided he would climb over the fence between us, and it was about a 6-foot fence. I know I had to jump up and down when I wanted to shout at them over the wall. And he climbed over and decided he was going to swap this tiny little bantam egg, and they're really, really diddy. If you think of normal hen's eggs about this size, bantam eggs are this size. So he decided he was going to swap it. But then he realised it had a kite mark on it, you know, the standardised stamp. So he decided he would sandpaper it off. He was a joiner, so he had plenty of sandpaper, but that left scratch marks. So then he decided to find some fake tan. I'm not sure why he was wearing fake tan, and decided he would rub some of that on to cover up the scratch marks. He then climbed back over and put it in the chicken nest box for me to find later that day. And I just think, Malcolm, why? Why? But yeah, he was always doing silly things like that, which always made us laugh. And when I got sick of everything at home, I'd just go, I'm off to see Pam and Malcolm, and walk round next door and say, hello, can I come in? And Pam would go, Malcolm, is there any wine? So I'd always go and have a glass of wine with them. Pam and Malcolm now live in Yorkshire, and Pam makes the most incredible needle felted pictures, and she made a beautiful one of Pip and Lotta which I'll show you sometime. And she is on Instagram as pam.whitford, I think, and on Facebook as well. I will try and put her name at the end, but do have a look because her work's gorgeous. I think I forgive them enough for leaving to tell you about them and to promote Pam, but I'm not sure, and they will still get their sort of 2 to 3 monthly requests to move back that I normally send them, because they haven't been forgiven properly. So digression from my book about chickens, I've also got this new book, Wildflowers, which is a book, Wildflowers of Britain Month by Month by Margaret Erskine Wilson. And I got this as inspiration for some of my flora and fauna dyeing and for my advent calendar this year, which is British Wildflowers. And you'll be pleased to know I'm ahead of the game and I have dyed 8 days worth of the advent calendar already, but I'm not telling you what they are. I also want to spend some time, as I say, I love paint palettes and I would love to have time to do some painting. So I bought myself this little book about painting flowers. I think it's an old one that's probably out of print now. And this one about drawing them. And I kid myself that I'm going to have time to do these things because I never ever do. But, you know, you've got to hope. And this is why when I go on holiday, I always take about 30 books, because I think a week of holiday means I'm going to be able to do all the things that I've wanted to do all year and not had time to do. And I often come back having only opened 3 or 4 of the books, but the hope's always there. So there we go. So that's all my new garden-y stuff, but I have got a brand new set of products that I'm very pleased to show you. There's a lovely company called Perkins and Morley, and I've just stocked up on their stunning cards and goodies. As you know, birds and animals and wildlife are always going to be my favourite themes, but look at these. Can I get them so that they're not too glary? So a little wren, yeah, a bit too, what are they reflecting off? Yep, so there's a wren. So these aren't actual, they're obviously prints of an embroidery, but the wren, goldfinch, peacock butterfly, long-tailed tit and blue tit, that's in this range, and I'm just so pleased with them. I just think they really fit the shop. And then I have these two, which I think are lovely. These are part of the Leaf It Out. So I like those. And then we've got squirrels and hares. And look at these. These are part of the Wildwood collection. Look at that gorgeous badger. I'm sorry, I know they're a bit glary with the light. The badger, little owl, blue tit. Can you see the theme? Stunning lapwing. I really love that one. Oh, hang on, get it there. This one I love as well. The avocet. I think the background is beautiful. So these are like on a lino print background with the painting on the front. And the fox. And the curlew. And then, oh, and I love this one. This is a lovely squirrel. I just think he's adorable. And because I like him so much, there's some other things I've got with him in. And there's a sheep. But then for Easter, I've got these two. I thought these would make lovely Easter cards. I tend to prefer a card that doesn't have printed in it what it's for, and to write my own message. So these are blank. All these cards are blank. But I thought these would make lovely Easter cards. And I've also got, in this range, some lovely Easter decorations. And these are lovely because they're wooden, but the design is on both sides, so you don't have to worry about it twisting. So So they're lovely decorations. They're £2.50. And then we have magnets, fish magnets. Again, a nice little present. These are, I always like these things because they're good for posting. We still can't see our loved ones, but it doesn't mean we can't send them a little present. So there's a little bunny rabbit. And then there are also key rings as well. And they're £3 for the key rings, obviously because of the extra bindings. And I have them all in the squirrel design as well. I'd say he's my favourite. So I'm very excited to have these and to support a company that is quite local. They're based over in Cumbria. And it's Jill Perkins and Jan Morley. And I'm just very pleased to have this new stock in my shop. And you will find it in the new section of the shop. And I hope you like it as much as I do. I don't have a proper, oh, I've got some more of the things that, yeah, there's a little rabbit key ring. I thought I had another one. I hope you'll like this podcast. I haven't done a book review or anything extra. As I say, I felt a bit ropey after the vaccine, but I'm so thrilled to have had it. I'm very tempted to start singing what Dolly Parton sang before she had hers, but you don't need that earworm in your head all next week like I've had it for the last few days. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll think I'm bonkers, but actually I am. So there you go. Nothing new there. Oh, and Isla and I did do some gardening today. Not very much, but we did pot some bulbs and things. Well, I planted some bulbs that were in pots. And she's got the greenhouse all fabulous. And she's just been busy. She's stripped our stairs. We only had carpet. The only place that had carpet was the stairs and the landing. And the only place the dogs are ever sick or ever pee is the carpet. So it's the only carpet in the whole house and it had to go. So Isla's stripped it all away and she's been sanding and sanding the stairs for weeks, and she's painted all the risers different shades of blue and turquoise and yellow, and the tops of the steps are all sanded and it looks really nice. Yeah, it looks, I like it. It's what I've always wanted, but never had the time or energy to do. So thank goodness for Isla's. Okay, lovely talking to you. Take care. Bye.